Hey everyone, welcome. We
Hello,
are
hello.
all right. We're streaming live today. We're on Facebook and YouTube Live, and of course on StreamYard where you can interact. And we are excited to have you.
Thank you for coming. I know that we have changed our system of webinars around, and one day of the month we're going to be having testimonies like today. Next week we'll be having a guest speaker. And Joseph, do you want to tell them who that is?
Yeah, I'll tell a little bit more at the end, but next week we've got two doctors that are experts on EMF protection. So really excited to hear from them, their wisdom, and their experience with the WAVwatch. So that's
Perfect.
coming up next week.
Yes. And so, we have different ideas to talk about each Wednesday when we have a Zoom call, rather than you just listening to me present some information about the WAVwatch. So I appreciate your patience as I did those over a year, but we're kind of expanding and changing those ideas now. So today, again, we are going to be maybe taking some testimonies and just talking about the WAVwatch and see where we're at with people and using the WAVwatch, I guess is what we could say. So, Joseph, how do you want to do that?
Yeah,
Looks like
so
got some kind of
I got a plan. I've got some slides.
Yeah.
So you may have seen this on Facebook or by email, but we are doing another share to win. So our goal is just for you to share your experience with the WAVwatch, just short stories. And so we can start with the disclaimer, and then I'll tell you guys how we'll do the giveaway.
So the disclaimer is pretty important for us. We want to try to keep ourselves as clean as possible and say the correct things. So what I really want you to remember is that we do have some names on the WAVwatch that sound like medical terms, and we had to use those to differentiate one frequency from another. But we are not making a medical diagnosis, not at all. That is just to refer to those sound frequencies. So we offer low-risk acoustical frequencies that promote self-care. They help to maintain or encourage good health, reduce the impact or risk of some chronic diseases and conditions where self-care has been shown to play an important role. The WAVwatch is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. And it's not a licensed medical product. And all acoustical frequencies are considered experimental. And it's not an FDA-approved medical device. And anybody today who gives a testimony is strictly volunteer, and we're not reimbursing you for your testimony. So thank you for listening to that disclaimer. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you. So yeah, just to reiterate, today we're just looking for you guys to share a short, around 2 minutes, or if it goes longer, that's fine. And as Linda mentioned, we're not giving compensation. You are entering to win a free watch, and we'll do that randomly based on the people who enter. But by sharing your testimony, your story, or your review, you're giving us the right to use or reproduce your video on social media or our website or other future webinars. And so thank you for doing that, but just be aware that we would love to use your story if it's okay. And just a couple ideas for you if you're joining, and if you've been on a Zoom or something before, make sure you've got light coming towards you. So I've got a window that I'm facing me, so I've got light on my face. My background's not so tidy, so I hit blur screen, your camera angle, all that stuff. But yeah, just keep it simple, be yourself, and we look forward to hearing your stories. And lastly, I'll drop this link in the chat. If you're not ready to be on live camera for everybody to see, then you can just upload a video today at this link, and we would love for you to submit there as well. So, but yeah, and that's it. So awesome. And one of the things I was going to say is, in order to be for us to know that you want to share, please put a link in chat with maybe a little bit of information about what your review or what you would like to share, and that way we can know who wants to be pulled in to share your story on video. So if you can drop a comment in the chat that you want to share your story or a little bit about what you benefits you've received from the watch, then we will know to bring you in, and we'll bring a couple in at a time, just because it takes a while to kind of get everything set up, and then we'll let it go that way. So, all right, that's what I got for now, and awesome.
So nice to have you clicking all the buttons, Joseph. He's in Germany today. Is that right? Germany?
I'm in Germany. Yep.
One of these days, I'm going to have him sing for us. Him and his wife sing for us. That's what they're doing over there. So they are traveling and singing at different places, and they have an amazing, amazing grace song that obviously in a church that they've done that I just love. So one of these days, we'll have to put that up. Well, we're kind of waiting for some testimonies. Just wanted, yeah. So Joseph is looking at that.
All right. So Jenny, I see that you've got a story about some tooth pain, so I'll invite you. And so if you are wanting to share a testimony, please just drop a comment, and I will bring a few people in. And once you're in, we would love to hear your story.
I want to share a testimony that I have had several comments on, and people send me their testimonies when they fly. This has been so fun. I think I've gotten 4 testimonies now from people who have said that they, get on the airplane and there's a baby that's screaming in front of them or behind them or beside them or whatever. And, they go, oh, maybe I could calm it down with the WAVwatch. And so seriously, 4 people have thought to put calming or maybe anxiety on the WAVwatch and turn it up just a little bit so that evidently that baby can hear it. And they've all said, oh yeah. And it just calmed right down. And the mom's going, wow, what happened? So people are having fun with the WAVwatch, especially on airplanes. More testimonies than that, but the 4 with the babies were very interesting. Okay.
All right. So I've invited several people. Jane Van Austin, Vicky, I see you. We can put you here. I don't see that anybody's joined yet.
What do they press again to let you know that they have a testimony?
So here's an example. So we've got a comment here from Diane. So here's one. So Jane said, I'd like to share my story. So then, there we go. Jane, you should see an invite to join us in the studio, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
And Vicky Akers has a testimony.
Oh, here's Vicky. All right. Yay, Vicky, we got you. Okay. First one. Welcome.
Wow. Okay, let me get there we go.
Hey.
I have so many testimonies, some little things, and then some really huge things that I've been using the WAVwatch for quite a few years now. So, some of the little things that don't maybe seem important to everyday life, but come up from time to time would be mosquito repel. That has been fabulous for me. And then if I don't have it on soon enough, the bites and stings that's just above the mosquito repel helps. It just helps those bites go away. I'm just amazed by it. And also motion sickness has helped me on several traveling trips that used to be a difficult thing for me. And now it's just, I set it before I even get in the car. And it's just amazing. If you have kids that you travel with that have motion sickness or other adults, boy, it just is really helpful. I've used it for vertigo. It helps a lot with that. I've used it for dental issues and long-term, and find that to be very, very helpful. So I can stop whenever, or I can just keep going because I have so many, but I want other people to have a chance to share stories.
Well, yeah, no, we are still, if you got maybe one more, that'd be great.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the biggest one that was helpful to my husband is he had radiation treatment for prostate cancer, and he used the WAVwatch for all of the side effects that brings. And it made such a tremendous difference for him when the doctors asked him, why do you think you're doing so well? And he just held up his arm and said, because of my WAVwatch. And they were very interested. It wasn't like, oh, no, can't be that. That's a bunch of hooey. And they were very interested and wanted to know more about it. I don't know if they've followed through with anything, but that was one of our best testimonies for the WAVwatch.
That's awesome. Wow. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much, Vicky.
Oh, you're welcome. I sure enjoy seeing you guys.
Yeah, likewise. Great.
I want to
see
hear that
you.
song.
Yeah, see, I promised.
Yeah, it's a
Sure.
promise. You got to do it now.
Yes, I can drop a link for you. But yes, or
Oh, yeah.
Chasing Sun
Put that in
on
there.
Spotify. Yeah,
All right.
Chasing Sun. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, take care. Thanks,
You
Vicky.
too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, so I've sent several invites here. Kathleen Hoffmeister, you said you wanted to share? Oh, Gail, okay. So just a reminder, you would actually need to join through the StreamYard link, so if you're on Facebook Live, you might not be able to join the studio. So I will drop that link in the chat. And so... All right.
Don't forget that your animals can benefit from the WAVwatch too. And even a child, if you're wearing the WAVwatch, you can share it with others simply by touching them, by holding your pet, by holding your grandchild, or by touching your spouse. So we have quite a few testimonies on that also that are really fabulous. Okay, so Joseph, you got some people ready to go.
Yay. Okay, Cindy, are you ready? I see you're on. Okay.
I am, yes.
Hey
Good
there.
morning.
Good morning.
Well, I saw Linda on a podcast, actually listened to her on 2 different podcasts about 6 weeks ago, and heard about the WAVwatch, and it piqued my curiosity. And I've had a hip injury from a horse fall about 3 years ago, and it's given me chronic pain off and on. Lately, it's been really interfering with my quality of life and ability to do things. So I tried the WAVwatch, and I'm telling you, it's made a difference. I can go about my daily activities with little or no discomfort, and I'm telling my friends about it because I'm amazed. And I'm working on some other things too besides the hip, but that's the major thing that's really made a difference for me in my life so far. So I thank you
Wonderful.
for that.
Great testimony, Cindy. We can't even conceive of some of the accidents that people have and could use the WAVwatch for.
Well, it's been amazing, and I'm looking forward to some other improvements on other things, but just the improvement in the hip has changed my ability to get back with life and do the things I want to do. So it's great.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much for sharing. Bless you. Have
Thank
a great day.
Bye.
I have a hard time. I just kind of get blurry-eyed.
Well, I love that. Yeah, well, great news. We've got 3 people on deck ready to share. And so Kathleen, I'll bring you in, and then Gail, you'll be next, and then Jane. So, and anybody else, I will keep monitoring the comments. So Kathleen will bring you in. Hey there.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Good morning. My name is Kathleen Hoffmeister, and I really am a practitioner, not practicing right now because I have my own issues. But recently we hosted the National Cherry Festival in Traverse City, Michigan, which is my hometown. And it's a really big festival. We have an air show, etc. And lots and lots of extra people come to visit us. And along with them, they bring things like COVID and flu and lots of other things. But this year, my sister was meeting me for my family. She's single, and she was meeting my family for the festival fireworks on the 4th of July. And her daughters dropped her off, and she was crossing the street and has no idea what she tripped on or if she tripped on anything, but fell forward, did a face plant on cement, the cement roadway. And immediately, because it is a festival and we have even EMTs on bikes to get through the crowds, immediately she had help. So they rushed her off to the hospital, and her daughters hadn't even left town yet. As they were driving through crowds trying to get out of town, she was meeting us. So they were leaving town, and actually her Apple Watch went off and notified her two daughters.
Wow.
And they met at the hospital. So someone was with her. She kept saying, call my sister, call my sister. Well, I couldn't even hear the phone because of the mobs and of people. But anyway, it all turned out okay in the sense that she got help right away. She has a concussion. She had 11 stitches across her nose, broke her nose, a couple other stitches in her head where her head hit first. Then her shoulder hit, they figure, because that was not dislocated, but really sore and had been disturbed. I let the whole evening go because I knew she had her girls with her, and we were communicating. I knew she was going to be all right. And for me to get out of where I was would have been next to impossible. So the next day I went to see her. She was home, and I took my watch. I have two watches, and I took mine to her, programmed it. I just interviewed her, like, what are your symptoms? What do we need? And I just loaded it with everything: dizziness, the concussion things, the bruising of her face. She had a black and blue face. She was just beautiful. So we programmed it for all that. And then each day I went and checked on her, and one of her girls stayed overnight. So she had somebody with her. In the interim, my son contracted something from someone in the crowd, and he started getting sick with a sore throat, etc. So we took the other watch to him and programmed it for all his symptoms. And I included COVID, by the way, in that, because we didn't know what it was, and there were lots of people there. So we got him going on that one. And then, like, now it's almost 3 weeks tomorrow, I think, is my sister's. She's been cleared by her doctor to drive again with the concussion. She's been cleared to drive. I saw her last night. She doesn't have a bruise on her face in 3 weeks, and just not a bruise. You can't even tell she did it, except for a little spot up here where they had to kind of overlap some skin for stitches. She looks amazing. She's feeling good. No more dizziness. So I got the watch back because I've been having challenges. I gave a testimony weeks ago about fighting cancer, and I am still in the battle of the battles. So I needed a watch back.
Yeah.
She looked like she could give hers up. So I have my watch back. And so that's.
So Kathleen, did the medical community think that she recuperated quickly, or did anybody notice it, or did they say,
Yes,
wow?
I forgot to say that. Her doctor said, amazing. She's not showing any signs of the concussion, but yet, they'll continue to monitor her. Released her to drive way sooner than she ever expected to drive.
Okay.
And she's back to work. Yesterday is the first day she worked full time. She's 71 years old and she works full time yet. So
I'm there.
Yeah. So yeah, the stitches came out early. Bruising was a lot. I mean, she was you can't imagine what the bruising looked like on her face.
Wow.
She was just, and it's just gone now. So I said, if you feel that good, and can I have my watch back? And you're back to work and you're driving.
Well, great testimony. And Kathleen, just the thought that you wanted to share it and that you knew the versatility of it and the many ways that it could possibly be helpful. We can't, quote unquote, take credit for it, wow,
Right.
but we know that things do happen and people can put two and two together sometimes, that there might have been an improvement because of the WAVwatch. So,
And
wow.
I asked my son if I could have his back, because I like to keep my husband on, maintenance kind of thing. He goes, no, I'm still recuperating.
Sounds like he needs to get himself one.
I don't think I'm getting that one back. I don't know.
Thank you so much, Kathleen. Is there anything else you want to add?
That's it for today. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your testimony.
Thank you
It was
so
great.
much for sharing. Great to see you again. Bless you. Take care. All right. So we've got several here on stage. All right, Gail, Jane, then Nancy, and then Janelle. So thank you all for waiting patiently. And Gail will bring you in. Hey there.
Hi there.
Hello, Gail.
I first saw Linda about 1.5 years ago on Michelle's show, Michelle Moore, and we have. I'm a nurse. I've been a nurse since '82, and I have a home-based wellness practice. So we have a lot of different therapies, and my middle name is Wellness, so I'm always open to things in the wellness arena. But I have a bigger Tesla plasma Rife machine, and I wasn't sure that this was something I needed at first. But to be honest, when I heard Linda talking about the kidney stone testimonial, that really got my attention. And I love the fact that it's so portable. And, I call it like a toolbox at your fingertips. So we've had outstanding results. I have testing, like a Zyto testing that I do with my clients. And I help them make priority frequency lists based on what comes up for their testing. One of the first people that I really tried it out on, our friend was in a car accident, and it wouldn't be easy for me my big machine is portable, but it's not that easy to transport it, and it's fragile and all. So we took our watch over. He had been in a car accident and got a subdural hematoma. They had put him on some anti-seizure medicine for a week, just as a preventative. And so we went over there right after he got out of the hospital the following day. He had a headache. He was nauseous, very tired. Of course, they probably kept him up all night. So I put 3 frequencies on him: the pain, inflammation, trauma, the nausea, and the brain concussion. And within that 30-minute time frame, his headache was gone, his nausea was gone, and he had a really good rest of the day and was able to sleep well that night. And I mean, that was like proof to me how powerful this is with something so portable. And I can honestly say that in 30 years of being in wellness, this is for the price point and everything it does, this is the best product that I have found in 30 years. I mean, I love it. My clients love it. And it's like a perfect fit for what I do. 2 of my more personal testimonials, I have one guy that was here with his 7-year-old son with alopecia. And while I was doing the testing on the son, he said to me, he just blurted out, "Do you have anything for anxiety?" And I said, well, I went and got the watch and put it on him. And within a couple minutes, I saw him whispering to his wife at the other end of the couch. I'm like, "Is everything okay?" And he says, "I'm just telling her that this works better than my medication." And he said his anxiety was so debilitating that if anything went wrong in the beginning of the day, he'd be done for the day. That's how debilitating his anxiety was. I had another woman whose adult daughter, who lived an hour away, and she had what she called the worst headache of her life. She was going to go to the emergency room, and her mom drove an hour after work that evening to take the watch over and put it on her. So I was in a meeting, I had my phone shut off, and when I turned it on, I saw that she had called me and wanted some guidance. So she put the, I think the pain, inflammation, trauma, and the migraine frequency on her. The headache went completely away. She didn't have to go to the hospital. It was still gone by the next day. You know, so I mean, there can be some dramatic results. And this is kind of funny, but like, you know, we use the watch a lot. We do our own testing, my husband and I, and we have our own long playlist of our priority frequencies that we use regularly. I've had a couple injuries to my knee. I had a bursitis, and then I got in a bike accident. So I've had specific playlists, and I just made a new one for like liver, kind of liver fluke, gallbladder, kind of a detox cleansing. But the two that I have like absolutely 100% used and seen immediate results is the headache toxin related and the headache parasitic related. Like when you are doing detoxing and you get that vague, just kind of like a mild vague headache, amazing. I'll put that on for 8 minutes and it's gone. I mean, that is just, you know, like one of my favorite ones that I've seen like immediate results with. So I really thank you, Linda, for what you've developed. I have so many people that are grateful to you for this device. And, you know, I just am truly blessed to have found it.
Oh, thank you. And you know, Gail and I have gotten to talk before on the phone, but I don't think I've ever seen you in person. So hello. Thank you for the testimonies. They were great the way you linked them together. It was amazing.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Gail. Great to see you.
Thank you.
Take care. All right. So next up, we've got Jane Van Austin, and then Nancy, Janelle, Vincent. And all right. Hi there.
Hi.
Hi, Jane.
Hi.
Welcome.
Good morning. I'm
Morning.
Jane Van Austin from Wisconsin, and I was in a 3-car accident on June 7th. I was hit on the passenger side, rolled over, and landed on another vehicle. I hung there for quite some time. They had to use the jaws of life to get me, cut the door off to get me out. I had 9 broken ribs and some cuts and lots of bruising from the left shoulder across both breasts and on my right side, all from the seatbelt. They say it takes 6 to 8 weeks to heal a rib. I was fortunate and had a chest x-ray a month later, and all the ribs are healed. Fortunately, I had minimal pain during that time, except when I was in the hospital and they were moving me from bed to table to take different tests. I've used the WAVwatch for inflammation, pain, and trauma, and bruises and bone fractures, and am now using PTSD as this was a traumatic event in my life. I do have some high blood pressure and some blurry vision. I run visual acuity and also high blood pressure and several other. God is good and all will be fine. I'm sure the WAVwatch helped me. I have several of them and tell others and show them if I have it on at the time. So thank you so much, Linda. People can't imagine how well I was doing in such a short time. And I think the WAVwatch was part of that. So thank you.
I was just
Wow.
holding my breath when you were telling me about the severity of the accident. Oh my goodness,
Mhm.
Jane. We are,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
nothing
glad you're here.
anyone to go through.
wow.
No.
Wow.
Wow.
Thank
Well,
you for that amazing testimony and
yeah.
sharing that. Wow. Just like you say, some people can speak about their traumas and some people cannot. So for you stepping out and talking about trauma and possible PTSD, thank you. Thank
You're
you. And I hope
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you. God bless you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks
You
for
too.
sharing. All right. All right, Nancy. Welcome.
Morning.
Hey there. Morning.
How are you guys?
Doing great.
Well, I just wanted to share that I think it was about 4.5 months after I had twin kidney stones removed that I heard Linda on the Truth Seekers 88 channel. and she kept talking about how it was better, easier on your body than lithotripsy. And this was the second bout I'd had with kidney stones. And I'm like, that's a lot less expensive than going to the hospital and going to the urgent care and the emergency room and all the things that I did. And so I definitely hopped on board and got one, just thinking, oh, kidney stones, I'll use it for that. Oh my word, that was only the beginning. Since then, I have used it. I'm a faith-based neuroemotional energy clearing coach, or whatever you want to call it. So one of my favorite testimonies is I had a client come in April, new client. She was suffering from a brain concussion. And I put it on her for the brain concussion, and I think maybe inflammation, pain, trauma during our session. And the session was an hour and a half long, maybe. And I was concerned that she was going to even be able to make it up the 3 steps into the office. And because I met her out in the parking lot, and because she was walking with a cane and very slow, and her speech was very difficult to hear, and all just a number of things. And so she walked in, we started her session with the watch and with the neuroemotional healing. And an hour and a half later, she literally got up, walked down the hallway to the bathroom without her cane, turning her head this way and that way, and speaking so much more clearly. It was like a take up your mat moment. I was like, I just had goosebumps, and it just makes me excited about what I do. But what I do is just so much more impactful with the WAVwatch with my clients. So I'm just so happy that I found you and I found the watch, and I know it was a God thing. And I'm just so thankful for you, Linda.
Oh, well, I'm just thankful that God provided, he made these frequencies. Everything has a frequency,
Right.
And so thank you for sharing that. It was, goosebumps,
Exactly. Yeah.
You see somebody with such a switch, that is very
So
empowering.
evident. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank
Wow.
you for sharing that very much.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing, Nancy. Bless
Thanks.
you. Have a
Thanks,
great
Josie.
day. All right.
Too.
Wow. So, all right, Janelle, you're next, then Vincent. And then I've invited a few more, Mrs. K and Inda. So if you see an invite, but Janelle will bring you in. Oh, and you got a puppy.
Hi, good
Or
morning.
dog.
This is Murphy. My name is Janelle, and I wanted to share 2 stories. And then, of course, I have a little dog here that is a miniature poodle, and he has severe anxiety and definitely a detachment disorder from me. And so I would love to see the results with him, because the anxiety is definitely real in dogs, just like it is humans. I would love to see the results with him. But my first story is a tooth story. I had a cracked tooth that needed to be repaired. It was actually a filling, that needed to be repaired. So I had an emergency dental appointment because I was heading out on a business trip. So I got it filled, and the very next day flew out, and I had terrible, terrible tooth pain from the results of that dentist appointment. And I was on the plane, and I had a friend that I was traveling with that had the WAVwatch, and she said, you need to use this while we're on this 3-hour flight. And I was like, okay, sure. We'll see what it does. So she put some kind of dental setting on, and within, I would say, about 20 minutes, we kept replaying I guess what you would call the frequencies. And within 20 minutes to a half hour, my pain was completely gone. And so we kept playing it the entire flight and the entire trip. It was incredible. I had no pain. I don't like to take medication or pain meds when I don't have to. And it was great because this solved that situation. And more recently, my husband and I are actually trying to start a family. And I would never had an ultrasound in my life because I never had a need to. And I discovered that I had really bad menstrual cramps with my cycle every month and never knew why. And so it turns out that I had a fibroid that was living inside of my uterus, the size of my uterus. And so it took up the entire space. And all these years, I never knew it. And so I had to have surgery to remove that fibroid. It's actually a non-cancerous tumor. Thankfully that they can be removed. But if I would have gotten pregnant, I would have had no room for a baby and would have definitely miscarried. So I was grateful to find that information out. And then started using the watch setting on different hormones, since I do get really bad hormone headaches at that time of the month. And I have other fibroids that are living outside the uterus that can present a problem for pregnancy if they're up against the uterus. And so I had a second ultrasound, and they said, there's not much we can do with those outside. They kind of need to stay away for pregnancy, because they will, if they start to grow and change this shape enough to affect the uterus shape, that could be a problem. And so I started using the setting for hormone, and specifically there's actually a fibroid setting on the watch. So for anyone that struggles with that, it worked tremendously. And when I went back in for a final ultrasound, they said they have shrunk. They're so small. They're never going to be an issue. And just being a praying person, as well as knowing that only God and this WAVwatch could have done the results that it did, I was forever grateful. So we are still in the journey and process of starting a family and getting pregnant, but I know that God is the God of miracles, so it will eventually happen. So thank you.
It will eventually happen. That's a great way to say
Love
it.
that.
Oh my, here
We'll
I'm
be
tearing
praying
up
for
with
you.
it. Yes.
That's beautiful.
You gave such a good explanation too, that helped all of us to understand, and to have the medical before and after is amazing. So just like you said, God first, and hopefully the WAVwatch was involved in that too. So what a great testimony. Thank you, Janelle. And just put that WAVwatch right on your dog, or put anxiety on you and you hug your dog, and that helps so many times. So
Thank you. Okay, I will do that.
Oh, bless you. Thank you so much for joining. Ooh, wow. Powerful. Oh, goodness. Wow. Okay, so Vincent, you're next, and I'll bring you in. And then we've got a few more that want to join, but yeah.
Hello, I'm Vincent.
Hey there. Welcome.
There you are.
There we go. Better light. I had found out about the WAVwatch from a friend of mine who I suggested use a Rife machine to work on his stage 4 kidney cancer, and he healed that. But the ultrasound from that device is rather limited because the way it works. So his wife is a flight attendant, and she has all these different issues. So in all the research she did trying to find stuff to help his cancer, she found the WAVwatch. All right. And she started using it because he was skeptical. When she started getting all sorts of great results for what she was doing it with, he started using it, and he's been clear of cancer now for almost 12 months. And he suggested I start it because my wife and I were in a rollover car crash. Drunk driver hit us, flipped us like Jane's, crash. And 30 years ago, we've had these lingering issues, and we've been dealing with them, trying to find stuff that really works, spend a lot of money. Very little has been helpful. Very little actually shows results. You spend a lot of money, you work with it a long time, you waste a lot of time and money, and you don't really get any positive results from it. So she suggested, well, why don't you try this WAVwatch? And me being a very cerebral sci-fi fan, if you've ever seen that movie, the old Michael Rennie version of The Day the Earth Stood Still, where, the robot places the dead alien on this bed, a med bed, and uses ultrasound frequencies to bring him back to life. Okay. Where all these giant frequency jumbles all together. And if you work with those frequencies and you have specific frequencies to target specific problems, you should be able to rearrange the physiology of your body. So I said, okay, I'll try it. I'll spend the money because I believe in the science that I know could be behind it. And my wife whenever I try something new, she goes, you try it, you be the guinea pig. And a year later, if I see you've got any results, then I'll try it. Maybe, right? Maybe. So after 3 days of using it and coming up with some, what I thought were some good results, I says, why don't you try it? I haven't been able to get that watch back from her ever since. Okay. She uses it to help with her IBS. The second day she had it, she had a sore throat, and she plugged in the sore throat program or whatever it was. And within 10 minutes, her sore throat went away. She has neck strain and headaches, and she's, gets on the menu and plugs in those. And within half hour, 20 minutes, those are resolved. Something really, really, really works, and it's not a placebo if you can use it on your cat or your dog, because they don't know about sugar pills, right? They don't know what a placebo is. Last Monday, about 8 days ago, 9 days ago, our cat came home. He'd been, I believe, attacked by a fox. He had a bite puncture mark on one side of his shoulder and a bite bruise on the other shoulder, and he was freaked out and in shock. And I managed to clean up his wound. He crawled under one of our big chairs to where I could barely reach him. I cleaned up his bloody puncture wound with hydrogen peroxide. He let me do it. Normally this cat doesn't let you do anything to him. All right, but he was so freaked out. And I looked through the WAVwatch for the healing programs, and there's one called puncture wounds. Okay. And after getting the blood to stop and everything, I just punched up the puncture wound program and sat there and held it on him for, I think, 2 or 3 cycles of this program. Right. And then after a while, he just got fidgety and, crawled under further, and I couldn't do anything more with him. But just that little bit of exposure to that program, he has healed up so quickly to where that puncture wound is it's almost completely all scabbed off. And I mean, it was broken through the skin, it's about quarter inch wide, the size of a fox tooth. But today when I felt him, the blood blister on the one side is about half the size of it was before. The puncture wound is flaking off skin to where in another day or two, you won't even be able to tell that he was bitten by something, right? So when you know that your animals are responding to this very quickly, you can't say, oh, it's just a placebo, or
Right.
like the doctors like to say, oh, it's just coincidence. I'm sorry, but when something gives you 100% results, it works. I get these little fungal type cracks behind my ear, and that's a fungal infection. It's like athlete's foot of the ear, or whatever you want to call it. I run the fungal program, and after about 3 or 4 cycles, it seems to be resolved. I also have Morgellons, and I don't know how many people on today know about Morgellons, but these little plastic tendrils start coming out of your skin. Okay, and mine come out on the forearms and on my ankles. Okay, and when you try and scrape them off, they're like hard plastic resin. All right. And I have been running the Morgellons program alternatively, and a whole big plastic blob came out of my elbow. Okay. And the old Harry Potter Hagrid, better out than in, mindset. It's like, if that's coming out, then I'm going to keep running this to get rid of whatever else is in there. And also take boron every day, because that's supposed to help neutralize this chemistry behind all this chemtrail garbage that I'm outside all the time. I'm a real estate agent. I'm driving around showing houses in and out. I fly radio control planes. We stand outside for hours at a time where all this stuff's floating around. I'm an airplane guy. I know the difference between a condensation trail and a chemical trail that falls out of the sky with white powder. All right. So my Rife machine has some of these programs on it using different types of electronic waves, between ultrasound with the WAVwatch, plasma waves with my Rife machine, electronic waves, radio waves. My picture is starting to improve. And the only thing that I would really like to see you guys have is more than 3 playlists on the watch, because I would use 10 playlists. I went through the book and I'm, writing, I'm circling and underlining all the different things that I need to put on the playlists. And it's just, I have that many problems. I'm treating candida with it. I've had candida or candidiasis for 40 years. And it seems since I started running the candidiasis and candida 1, 2, 3, 4 programs, weird stuff is starting to come out of me. It's like, yeah, better out than in, right? So there's so much that I could be doing, but there's only 24 hours in a day. All right.
Yeah, you said it well. I mean,
yeah, I'm sorry, what?
No, they're only 24 hours. And, something I would say is, Linda designed the watch. So you mentioned Candida. You could just play the full mold and fungus folder. You don't have to make a playlist necessarily.
You can play an entire folder?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that will help you out a
can make
lot.
that folder loop, so you really have
Right.
over 100 playlists already.
Well, I'm still learning on it because my wife started with the watch maybe 2-3 weeks ago, and I only got my own watch I think 3 or 4 days ago. So I haven't had access to the watch like she has. She's the expert right now. But unfortunately, all of these problems, if you go to doctors, they have these insurance company, pharmacy company driven agendas. And it takes something like you guys and this type of technology and people learning how to use it at home to create their own health and wellness regimen, and then trying not to get unhealthy so that other things need to be treated. But I really want to thank you guys. This is a great thing. I would probably, buy another one, but it's not in the budget right now, because I would like to wear one at night while I sleep and wear one during the day, and want to run the batteries down. Anyways, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
That was wonderful, Vincent. You really covered a lot of ideas. That was very helpful to a lot of people. If they, key in on the Morgellons, it's, that's been around for a long time, and people are just now learning about it.
I tried to keep it short.
But Joseph, this might be a good time for you to mention that we do have payment plans too.
Yeah, and Vincent, thank you so much for sharing. Appreciate it, and take care. Have a great day. So we got a few questions in the chat about that, and absolutely. I was going to see if we have any more. I know there's somebody that wanted to share and wasn't able to log on with their browser, so sorry about that, Inda. Love to hear your story, but I can cover the payment plans, or do you think? Yeah,
Vienna, and then I didn't know if Cindy wanted to say something else.
Cindy has already shared.
Yes, so, yes, but I didn't know. Okay, and then Vienna.
Vienna's helping with some comments.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Vienna.
So yeah,
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you got it. If you are still wanting to share, there's still a little bit of time. Just put a comment in the chat and we'll bring you in. But I'll explain a little bit about the payment plans while we're waiting. So as some people mentioned, the investment of the WAVwatch, but we do have a $50 per month option, depends on your credit score, but you can use either Shop Pay or PayPal payments. And so when you go through checkout, there's a button that says Shop Pay, and just make sure you use the code webinar100 to get $100 off. And then you will be able to use a payment plan for your WAVwatch.
I'm sorry, Joseph, can they use anybody else, like somebody else that they've seen it on, like Truth Seekers or Michelle Moore or whatever? Can they use those codes?
They use any code they want. I was just saying, if you're on the webinar now and you don't have an affiliate that you won't know and want to support, then, but yes, if you follow Michelle Moore, Truth Seekers, anybody like that, then use their code for sure to give them credit. That'd be great. And and then select Shop Pay or PayPal and check out, and it'll give you some options. You can even do a every 2 weeks for 6 weeks, and that's no interest. So the other ones charge a small amount of interest. So yeah, that's how we can get how you can get a WAVwatch for $50 per month. And then, yeah, go ahead, Mom.
And Joseph, do we have any information yet about the
No,
HSA? Okay, plans.
no, not yet.
Sorry, I'm jumping the gun there. We have
jumping
had
the gun. Yes,
some
we
work
are
to do.
working on something exciting, but we have to put some pieces together first. So, but yeah, let me see if we have any last testimonials. And we've got some amazing comments I can share. But did you have anything else you wanted to share, Linda?
I just have a short testimonial again that somebody was on an airplane and she had just gotten the WAVwatch and was just studying it, and she had a skeptical husband, and she said, I tried it on the plane and leaned into him. His knees stopped jumping. She said they had been really bad, but his knees stopped jumping, and all she did was lean into him. She had the watch on. So I think it's really fun to share ideas. Don't forget, share. And that's what I really appreciate people doing, is telling other people, sharing on the plane, passing it around, just like one of the ladies did to her sister in the accident and her son, and let people know that there is a frequency for that. There's a frequency for everything, and we do have technology now that makes it very wearable. So I think that's probably all I want to say.
Okay, awesome. I think Vienna wanted to share a question we've got here. Let me bring you in, Vienna. So if you all don't know Vienna, she's a part of our amazing customer service team. And yeah, she's been helping out with some comments today. Thank you so much for jumping in.
My pleasure. I am so glad to be part of this team, Linda. Thank you so much. We've been walking together for 9 years, and if anybody knows, now, this is for real. I just want to say, watching Linda walk through the journey, it's been something that was in her heart 10 years before it came time to bring it to market. And just seeing her excitement every time she got one step closer, and like, how should we do this? So one of our most common questions about like the book or the frequencies. So like there's sinus, somebody put in a question on sinus that I just got to answer there, and it's sinus 1, sinus 2, sinus 3. Like what is the 1, 2, 3? How do I know which one to use? So if I could address that, Linda did a beautiful job of putting together these little frequency sets. It's this beautiful little box of up to 30 frequencies, little box. And that's the little label you see. The not bold words are a little label, and it's 2 to 3 words by virtue of that's how much space we had, right? Nobody would read a whole paragraph about what the up to 30 frequencies were in there. We had to make it user friendly. So what I want to explain is what's the 1, 2, 3, like sinus 1, sinus 2, right? So when Linda found more than 30 frequencies that would support balance in the sinus cavities, it had to spill over into another box. So each of those sinus 1, 2, 3 are different boxes. And so there's absolutely no difference, and it lends even more credibility to the, hey, run the whole. The other question, is this going to create a problem for me if I don't have macular degeneration? No. Frequencies are not creative in that sense. It will not create a problem for anyone. What is lovely is if the frequency resonates with something in the body, then the body is supported and it gets addressed. And if it doesn't find something in the body to resonate with, it just goes on by like music from your radio. So that's a couple of questions that I wanted to share on a broader scale. Thank you.
Perfect. And since we're kind of into questions, Vienna, thank you so much. Don't you think one of the ones they ask the most is about a pacemaker?
Oh, yes.
You get that question a lot. Do you want to jump in? I talk about that a lot, but we can hear your version of it.
Well, I actually honestly just share exactly what you say. I said, I always start out with I often refer to you because clearly you're the expert in the area because you designed it, you came up with it. So, and people just appreciate, Linda, your heart so much. Most of them have seen you somewhere on a program here and there. And so I say, here's what Linda says. Linda says, if your doctor has said to you that you should never talk to anyone and you should never listen to music anymore because you have a pacemaker or an electronic device, then you should not use the WAVwatch. But if you can talk to people and if you can listen to music, these are acoustical frequencies in the range of human hearing, and you're perfectly safe to use the WAVwatch. That's my animated version. You may not say it with quite all that facial expression.
That was pretty animated. I love that.
Yeah, I liked it.
Great.
So
Well,
we do have a few questions once in a while, and it's really nice to have someone else kind of jump in and help answer those. So I appreciate that. And Vienna does a wonderful job. So you've now seen a face sometimes if you call customer support. So there are sometimes it seems like we get overloaded and then, we catch up a little bit. So please do give us some space and, try not to email 5 times because somebody's having to answer every single one of those. So, just email once and we'll get back to you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, our apologies for that. In fact, it's beautiful. And here's one more thing I tell people is the good news is you're an early adopter. You got in on the beginning end of this when we're we're going through those little early growing pains. And sure, if that's troublesome to you to walk with us through the growing pains, set it aside and come back in a couple of years when we're really solidly, fully developed and able to answer questions in a couple hours. But I think you want to be on the early adopter stage and just bear with us. Thank you for your
You
grace.
want to help now. That's right. Thanks, Vienna. All right. Is there anything else, Joseph?
I was saying thank you so much, Vienna, for all you're doing. Great to have you on the team. All right. Take care. Okay, yes. So just a reminder, next week we've got our special guest, Dr. EMF, and we're really excited for you to hear from them. And if you have, this WAVwatch, of course, if you're tuning in, you've no idea what it is a watch that uses 1,000 different frequencies for self-care. And as I mentioned earlier, if you don't have a discount code yet, there's a webinar 100, which is $100 off, and you can combine that with the payment plan. And of course, last but not least, we need to pick a winner. So, Linda, do you have the number between 1 and 8? I've written the names of everybody, and I've kind of scrambled the order. So, you just pick a number between 1 and 8.
Oh, okay. 7.
Okay, 1 second. All right, it will be Nancy Stillman. I think she
Nancy Stillman has just won a WAVwatch?
Yes, Nancy
right.
Stillman. Let me find. Congratulations.
So yes. And just let us know your address. You can get that to Joseph.
If you just email me, I'll drop that in the chat, and email me your address.
Private chat, and we'll get that out to you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everyone for attending today. And sometimes the amount of time that you're spending may seem like a long hour, and then other times it just goes by so fast. And to me, the testimonies hour goes by so fast because the testimonies are just so amazing, and people are telling us stories from their heart. And sometimes it's so hard to hear some of the accidents and things that they have had happen. But then again, it's a high because we get to hear somehow that the WAVwatch was used and changes made. So again, thank you for your support and coming on today.
Yes, thank you so much, everybody. Lots of love. Have a wonderful week, and we hope to see you next week to learn all about EMFs. Take care.
Right. And Joseph, you should play your song.
I put a link in the comments, so there's a link.
Anybody
in the
like to hear
comments
Joseph
listen
and
to it.
Tammy, his wife, singing in Germany at an amazing cathedral? I think that's the one you put up, right?
Oh, I put the Spotify. I will put that one too. Great idea.
Oh, okay, that's the one I want
All
to
right.
know. All right.
Okay.
Have
Lots of
fun.
love, everyone.
Have a good week,
Bye.
everybody. Thanks.